Hey, it's Magic Prepper here with Midway USA, and I spend a lot of time on the shooting range. So I usually bring quite a bit of stuff with me because I find a lot of items to be essential to having a good day at the range. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to share with you exactly what those items are. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into my range bag you see right here. We'll go through and I'll open up all the pockets and show you what it is I think is important to have with you when you're out on the shooting range. So first off, we have the range bag itself. This is one of Midway USA's range bags, and it's the backpack style bag, which I really prefer. And the reason for that is because you don't have to have it slung over one shoulder, which might impede with a slung rifle, and you don't have to use your hands, which you might need for other things. So I just find it very convenient to wear this like a backpack and have everything I need with me for the range. So that's a good place to start. And of course, the Midway USA range bags are actually very high quality. I would definitely recommend checking them out. Now, obviously you're gonna have some things that are pretty basic. Magazines and additional ammo are probably a good example of that, but we'll move on to more exotic things here in just a little bit. Of course, you need hearing protection, and these Walker FireMax muffs are actually really good. Then you also need eyes, right? So eye protection, and this is another Walker's product, and honestly, Walker's, when it comes to having stuff for the range, it's just good stuff. They just do everything very basic, but it does the exact job you want it to do. So I generally like Walker's for anything that's gonna be less expensive. One thing I do carry in this main pocket up here is additional targets. So these shoot and see targets, I highly recommend if you're ever gonna be zeroing a gun or if you just wanna test out accuracy. I find this to make life a lot easier, so I always carry another pack of these with me. Then I also like to have additional drills or just items that give me something to work on while at the range. So for example, this is a concealed carry drill that I like to do. And then I always have some other drills and stuff printed out as well, just in case I wanna try to challenge myself and do a little extra. And clearly it's getting very windy out here right now. Gloves are another important item I like to have at the range. I use them for a lot of things. I use them to shoot in. People will criticize me for that for some reason, as if it's a bad idea, but if you don't wear gloves and use gloves, then when you do, you're really bad with them. So if you're ever going to use gloves, you should wear them and actually practice doing things while wearing them, or else you won't be able to. And another reason I have these is for dealing with hot suppressors, and I also use them for moving around stuff on the range, like target stands and things that might have splinters or have burrs and stuff like that. So it's just good to have a good solid pair of gloves with you. That empties out the main pocket, so we can move on. Here we have the side pocket, and obviously whatever range bag you're using might not have all these pockets, but you still might want to incorporate most of these items. So I'm just kind of going through the different pockets in order to keep this video a little bit more organized. Now here on the side, I actually keep a staple gun, and this is obviously for setting up targets on range stands. And most ranges, if you're going to like a public range or a range that you're paying for, it's gonna have some level of way of adhesing your targets to the stand. So this is just something I bring with me regardless, because I like to make sure I have access to it. And then of course, with that in mind, you're gonna want additional staples. And I also carry tape. Now this is electrical tape. I like electrical tape because it can do a few things. It's not just for taping up targets in case you need to, but I can use it for that. But it could also be for making a quick repair on something, or even just trying to get maybe like a pressure switch back on a rifle. Electrical tape's just good to have around, and I use it for some of those tasks even when I'm just out on the range. So you can even use electrical tape as a way to mark some of your previously shot targets in order to make sure that you're looking at the new hits instead of the old hits, right? So move on from there. Have a side pocket here. This side pocket, I do like to keep a rangefinder. Now this is just like an El Cheapo rangefinder that I got off Amazon. I'm gonna upgrade it to something much more substantial because I use it a lot more often now than I used to. But I always bring the rangefinder now, so that way if I'm doing a zero, I can verify that the zero is at the exact range that I'm looking for. Or if I need to just see how far a target is away when I'm trying to kind of push the limits and see how good my accuracy can be at range, then this allows me to do that more easily. So I bring a rangefinder. I think it's a good thing to have in any range kit. Even if you're going to a shorter range or something like that, it can just be nice to verify that the target markings at the range are accurate to what it is you're looking to do in the sense of setting a new zero, okay? And then I also carry pasties in here. Now these are just tan pasties, and these are used to cover up holes in targets, so that way you can keep using the same target without getting confused about where your newest hits are. So I use this to kind of extend the life of my targets, which I generally use, you know, IPSC sized or USPSA sized targets that are cardboard, and then this covers up those holes and lets me to use them a little bit more. So, I think in this small pocket, I don't know if I have anything, to be honest. Yep, nothing in there. We're being thorough though, we gotta make sure. Now, up in this pocket right here, this is a small, little bit more organized pocket. As you'll see, it's got some organization built in. So there's kind of a lot of little things in here, but these are all important things to have at the range. One thing I like to bring is a notebook. And the reason I bring a notebook is just because I might want to write down something in the sense of like working on a dope, or maybe I just want to write down or catalog a failure of some kind that one of my firearms had. This just gives me a lot of things to work with in the sense of taking some notes for data purposes. I also have another pair of hearing protection in here, but these are in-ear. So as electronic in-ear, and then these are non-electronic in-ear. I like having options, and honestly, sometimes muffs don't work very well for me when it comes to using a rifle. So I like to have the ability to switch to in-ear hearing protection if I need it. And then this one is also electronic, which would allow me to hear better around me instead of being fully closed off like these ones tend to do. So these are Surefire, this is Axle. It's all basic stuff, but it's all important to have, right? Now, a big one that I think is really important is a shot timer. Now this is the Packed Club shot timer, right? I think it's the Club 3. It's just a good thing to have if you want to measure improvement in your shooting ability. So if you're trying to do concealed carry drills and you want to know how fast your draw speed is, you need a shot timer. If you want to know how quickly you can do follow-up shots and see what your split times are, you need a shot timer. So I carry a shot timer with me all the time at the range. I don't always use it, but I do have it with me so I have the option. And I think it's a very important piece of equipment to have. So put that back just because the wind's really picking up. I'm at the point where I'm losing my hat and I don't want to lose all this stuff because some of it's expensive. Now in this little zipper component right here, there's a ton of like little tools. So I've got torque wrenches, I've got Allen keys, I've got, let's see here, not torque wrenches, Torx wrenches, right? I even got some like specific tools, like this is an AK front sight adjustment tool. So having all the little tools you need in order to accomplish a certain task, in here is just like a bunch of little things, like some thread locker, a tiny bit of lube, there's a bubble level in there for if I'm trying to zero something. Like I've got everything I might need to remove an optic, zero an optic. You need all these little tools, all the little red dot tools that come with your optics. You know, I just stash them in here so I have them available if needed. And then I even carry things like additional buffers of different weights. Like this one is an H buffer, and then I've got a H2 buffer right here as well, just in order to have options in case things aren't running the way they're supposed to, or if I want to diagnose an issue. I have all the tools required, and I have spare batteries in here for all the different pieces of equipment, whether or not it's a shot timer or particular optics, it's in here. So just having all those little tools and all those little accoutrements is a good idea, right? I don't want to have to go back home or go back to my vehicle or whatever it might be in order to fix a very simple issue. One thing you won't see in here is a cleaning kit. Now, I don't generally clean guns out on the range. I make sure my guns are cleaned and well maintained before going to the range. In general, that's what I would suggest, because if you're having a catastrophic failure at the range, it shouldn't be due to poor maintenance. It should be because there's something else happening. And so by making sure my guns are clean and well maintained before going out on the range, I know that that's not the issue at hand, right? So that's my suggestion. I generally try not to clean guns when I'm out at the range because it can also be problematic when it comes to safety issues and whatever rules your range might have. So generally, I'm not too worried about cleaning firearms when I'm out on the range. I just want to make sure that I can replace something or fix a broken item very quickly and easily if need be. So in here, this pocket is for pistol cases. And it actually, this bag comes with 3 cases that you can actually load up with pistols, right? And as you can see, here they all are. So these are empty because I don't have any pistols in them right now, but they do make good pistol cases just for the purpose of transport. But right here, as you can see, marked by the red cross symbol right here, is a first aid kit. And the reason I have that in here is, first off, it fits in the bag very well because I use the pistol case in order to assemble it. But secondly, it's because you're at a shooting range. This is a place where accidents are more likely to happen than not, right? In the sense of being involved with a firearm, you're out here actively shooting. This is where something bad could happen. It shouldn't, but it could. So I always bring a first aid kit with me out on the range. And this one in particular, I just piecemealed together with first aid supplies I already had because I wanted it to fit inside of this case so that I could just stash it in the bag with those other pistol cases and it'd be kind of just part of the system. But I've got all the necessary components, right? We got tourniquet, we've got chest seals, we've got quick clot, we've got gauze and more gauze, pressure bandages. It's just everything you would need in an advanced first aid kit. Even shears, we have a nasopharyngeal airway, we have a decompression needle. Like it's fully loaded in the sense of like a blowout kit. And I think that's just good to have. And honestly, having some Band-Aids and stuff is also a good idea, just because we all know every so often you get clipped or something by a slide or whatever and you start bleeding, and it's just nice to control that instead of bleeding all over your stuff, right? So that's why I have a first aid kit in here. I mean, we're out shooting guns. First aid should be top of mind and definitely considered a priority, at least in my opinion, because it's not always about making a mistake. Sometimes things blow up because we're talking about things that explode in order to push a projectile out of a barrel, right? So that's what's in my shooting range kit. Hopefully this video gave you some ideas about shooting range essentials to bring out with you on your next trip. And like I said earlier, these MidwayUSA range bags are actually really high quality. I like them quite a bit, and they're relatively affordable. So make sure you check those out if you're trying to set up your new shooting range bag. And if you have any questions about any of the components that I shared from inside of the bag, leave that in the comments below, and I'll do the best I can to answer those questions for you. Thanks for having me here, and I'll see you next time.